Think about it, he too easy to hate on. He was doing good in Canada. He dancing with his white friend, Jewish uncle. They having bar mitzvahs, good investments. You feel me?
Yeah.
His mama family got that check. Kendrick going through it, bro.
Yeah.
He had a rough life. That's Drake shouldn't have messed with him anyway. You don't start no with nobody from Compton. Compton? Hell no. They've been running the rap game since '91.
Right.
Why would you do that? Out of all the people to beef with?
Not Like Us is already aging like fine wine, and it ain't even been long since Kendrick had the whole world dancing on Drake's grave.
One, what is the next move for Drake?
Lawsuit.
No.
He's gonna sue. Listen.
Why? He needs to sue all the investigators on Twitter have been pulling all the stories.
The investigators on Twitter ain't got to lose. Let me tell you something. Drake is half white.
Exactly.
Okay?
This is what
Y'all about to
talking
learn.
about.
Saying he's gonna miscarriage?
Drake mama's side of the family is like, oh no, Aubrey. No. This man is out here calling you a pedophile.
Not
Listen,
Aubrey.
there's probably people at Nike. There's probably people at Universal. There's people that got real vested interest in Drake. That is a multi-billion dollar entity.
Yeah.
They're like, you gotta protect your name. All that rap. Yep. Call your cousin. Call your cousin, who's the lawyer.
But it looks like Drake's about to go out as bad as Milli Vanilli, because he became the first person in the history of rap beefs to file an 81-page lawsuit against UMG about an Ops song. He claimed that Not Like Us wasn't only defamatory, but the song had a ripple effect and caused many problems in his home, to the point where his son Adonis was getting destroyed in public because of the negative things that were said about the family. And trust Drake is not playing around this time. If Drake had dropped some new music, gone on live streams, or did some cute little TikTok bops, and not made this whole Kendrick beef his new personality, folks would have moved on from this moment a long time ago. But Drake can't seem to move on from the fact that a man he didn't think was up to his level could wipe the floor with him like that. His D-riders want to forget that he kept taunting Kendrick, and after Family Matters, Drake probably went to bed thinking he had put his op in his place. Now he's taking out his frustration on his record label, UMG, one of the biggest labels in the world. According to this lawsuit that was filed, his life has been completely shattered because of Kendrick Lamar. Drake talked about how a group of armed attackers drove up to his Toronto mansion on May 7th, 2024 and sprayed the whole place while he and his family were inside. One bullet hit the front door while a security guard got struck with another and had to be rushed to the hospital. The very next day, a different intruder used his bare hands to dig a hole under the security fence of Drake's mansion, and he would have made it to the house and done some damage if security didn't see what he was doing and stopped him. Now, Drake has always been a shady guy and has his hands tied up in some small crimes on the Toronto front, so all these could have been because of another beef he had with Cash XO. But in the lawsuit, Drake pinned all of these on UMG and the fact that they heavily pushed Not Like Us to become a mainstream phenomenon. Drake claimed that UMG chose profits over their artist safety and is basically talking about UMG continuing their campaign to push the song even after they learned of the attacks on Drake's home. The lawsuit also claimed that UMG promoting Kendrick's song, just like they done for Drake throughout his career, was part of some master strategy to take him down. Kendrick just renewed his contract with Interscope Records, a unit of UMG, and since they owned Kendrick's entire catalog, they were incentivized to push the song hard and get millions listening. While the song continued to rise in the charts, all the allegations made against Drake continued to damage his reputation, and the label was going to use the impact of the song to their advantage when it was time for Drake to renegotiate his contract. According to Drake, UMG's strategy was successful and maybe even too successful. The song was topping the charts and even non-rap fans were vibing to the song. His reputation was hitting new lows, and UMG now had the upper hand if Drake brought negotiations to the table. It became one of the fastest growing songs in history until it was more than just a cultural moment. The accusations against Drake began to carry more weight and folks started digging into Drake's life to back all the claims Kendrick made in the song, and it got so bad that the song started to have ripple effects in his son's life. People at Adonis school had heard the song too and began to taunt him because of it. Flyers calling Drake a PDF were posted around his Toronto home, and his son Adonis could have seen any of it when going to school every morning. Drake got so scared for his son's safety that he pulled Adonis out of elementary school and arranged for his son and mama to leave Toronto entirely. Drake also referred to the nasty comments that were made about Adonis, paused to read read, cause I ain't reading all that. At first, UMG refused to respond to the allegations, and word is they were trying to talk things over with Drake behind the scenes and get him to drop his lawsuit. But when he wasn't budging, the label dropped their own statement saying, not only are these claims untrue, but the notion that we would seek to harm the reputation of any artist, let alone Drake, is illogical. We have invested massively in his music, and our employees around the world have worked tirelessly for many years to help him achieve historic commercial and personal financial success. UMG really went in for Drake with this one and exposed how much of a hypocrite he was. Throughout his career, Drake has intentionally and successfully used UMG to distribute his music and poetry, to engage in conventionally outrageous back and forth rap battles, to express his feelings about other artists. He now seeks to weaponize the legal process to silence an artist's creative expression and to seek damages from UMG for distributing that artist's music. Drake's talking about how Not Like Us affected his son Adonis is kind of crazy, because he wasn't thinking about how Family Matters would affect Kendrick's family after he straight up called him a wife beater. Now, Drake has been doing some sus stuff with women who can well be his daughters, and the evidence is all over the internet for millions to see. But this allegation against Kendrick could have really messed up the rapper's reputation and family if Family Matters happened to be the bigger song. Back in 2014, Kendrick already had to deal with allegations, and there were claims that he was jumped a white lady while he was out in Vegas. Word on the street is that Kendrick's PR team stepped in and forced the woman to settle while every evidence of the confrontation was wiped clean from the internet. At the time, Whitney was Kendrick's fiance.
I got told to go up to her room to help some girl get down to the casino because she was scared. She ends up being all bloody and everything. Oh, good. Oh, yeah, it was lovely. So I'm like, oh, crap. And so I had to call, like, my supervisor, then I had to call my other supervisor, then I had to call my boss. And I was like, we got a situation. Because, like, half of her face was, like, blown out pretty much. Oh, so God. I'm like, oh, lovely. And come to find out, she was with a certain rapper who had...
was his first name Lil?
No.
That'll narrow it down.
His first name was Kendrick.
Beat some guy bloody and did something to some female.
Yeah.
And they said they had evidence and all of this. And then I never heard anything about it again.
Yeah, because it's foolishness. Mm-hmm. That's the most ignorant stuff I ever heard made up.
I was like, Kendrick did that? I doubt it.
And, you know, that person whoever made that up owes an apology. Not to me, but to women that actually go out there and get a. You dig what I'm saying? That's a real issue, and to be putting a person name that that stands for someone way more better, that's been raised and way more better than that.
And there was another story about Kendrick stepping out on his wife with a Becky in Copenhagen, and he opened up about his ex addiction on his album Mr. Morales and the Big Steppers. So Kendrick's family life could have been turned upside down if Family Matters had the same success, cause accusing someone of DV ain't no joke. The only reason why Drake is suing UMG for employing the same tactics that have benefited him his entire career is cause he can't admit that he took an L and Kendrick is the better man. He's trying to frame this lawsuit as going against the system and helping artists win in the long run. But let's be reals, Drake's never looked out for nobody.
This whole conversation that's been positioned about Drake doing this to help other artists is not about no other artists, it's about himself. Had he won the battle, he would have not filed nothing. He would have not filed nothing. Instead of saying soft, they say Drake.
He has outright stolen songs and content from lesser known artists, and the only streamers and creators mentioned in his lawsuit are black creators like Kai Cenat, when other streamers like XQC and Auden Ross also helped to review and promote Not Like Us. He's trying to use this lawsuit to put pressure on advertisers and Super Bowl organizers to stop Kendrick from performing Not Like Us on the biggest stage in the world. And if Drake somehow, some way gets a leg up and wins this thing, it's going to put a big limit on the types of songs rappers can put out without worrying about being sued.
Now, I'm a Drake fan. Everybody knows that, right? This is not a good thing for Drake. It can't be, right? I don't care what his fans try to say. It can't be. Drake can never defeat UMG. There is no artist that can defeat UMG. You can't. It can't.
And folks are calling out Drake because for someone that claimed he's all about the culture, his other side is starting to show real bad. At this point, Drake has done more to promote Not Like Us than Kendrick or UMG has. He's the only one preventing hip-hop from moving on from this moment. The amount of money black creators have made off this beef is the most Drake has ever given back to the culture. I like how Drake was called a colonizer in hip-hop beef, and his response was to retaliate with the legal system. But what do you guys think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comments and make sure you watch the next video.